Hey, it's Dr. Matt coming at you, and I got my cup. I am a lover of coffee and coffee cups and everything coffee, and I have kind of created my own little mornings with Matt coffee shop behind me, and this is my favorite space in my apartment. I love this space. It's where I create, it's where I feel safe and comfortable, and it's where I do most of my writing. It's where I do my meditation. It's just my own little oasis, and I love it. And I'm drinking a cup of coffee tonight. I'm currently in our Christmas break, so I'm just really enjoying downtime and quality time with my son, lots of coffee. But I just really wanted to get on and do a video over a topic that's near and dear to my heart as a single mother. And I also have a podcast called Mornings with Mac that you need to hop on over and take a listen to. But I just wanted to hop on and give some encouragement to other single mothers out there. I'll tell you, I would say longer than a couple of years ago, my aunt told me that she asked me, she said, what's your favorite room in the house? And I was like, the bedroom. And she says, I think as you get older, you'll learn that you'll find that your favorite room will be the kitchen. And she says that's just kind of where the best conversations happen. And I was like, I guess this was longer than a few years ago, because I think I was in my late 20s. I'm starting to understand that that's true. Because now as a mother, when I'm in the kitchen cooking, I just feel like that's where the most organic conversations happen between me and my son. And it's just kind of easy, and everyone feels vulnerable and safe. And he just kind of slides the curtain open and lets me in on the intricacies of his own heart. And I feel fortunate and blessed to be able to have that conversation with him. And that's exactly what happened over this past Christmas with my grandmother and my cousins. We just everyone was over. It was kind of like an impromptu cookout that my cousin had kind of called us down to meet his fiance, or his girlfriend, sorry. And we just kind of all found ourselves in the kitchen just having conversations, and we all happen to be single moms. And so I just thought that we would do a podcast and just kind of share some of our own experiences. And each of us has a different experience. I know that some of the fathers are heavily involved, some are hit and miss. And so we just kind of organically talked about our hardships and our triumphs as single mothers, and just kind of were there to support each other. And so I just kind of wanted to hop on and do a video as well. I'm going to take a sip. It's really good coffee. It was gifted to me from a friend, and it's really good. But I just kind of wanted to hop on and share some of the key points that I felt were our takeaway, or the takeaway from our conversation. And of course, you can hear more about that on the podcast with Mornings with Max. Sorry, I can't catch my words. But I'm going to go ahead and read a few of these because I wrote it down. I'm also going to be doing a blog about it. But some of the takeaways that I felt like were kind of like the cornerstone from our conversation is that clearly strength was a word that was talked about amongst us, and just that you can do it. It is hard, and it does wear you out, but you can do it. No matter what your situation is, all of us became single mothers with varying situations. I will speak more about my situation in another video, but you can do it. And I know it's hard, and I know that strength is a word that we use a lot in talking about being a single mother, but I just want to encourage you that you can do it. And then something else that one of my cousins said is that also reminded me is that you have to do something for you. You know, we get so caught up in doing stuff for our kids. I have one. I have another cousin that has two, and we all have, whether it's one, two, or three, it's all hard. But she just kind of reminded us to do something for ourselves, and no matter where you are financially, what that looks like to you varies. And I know for me, I love to travel, so I really save as much as I can financially, a little here, a little there, so that way when I do get to my point to where it's time to, I need an escape, that I have a little cash flow to do something. And whether it's a day trip, whether it's just spending the night, I'm going to be honest, whether it's spending the night in a hotel in your same town, it doesn't matter. Just finding some place to kind of do you. I know I love a mask, so sometimes even when I'm at home and I do a mask, I feel like I'm doing something for me, or polishing your own nails, or whatever it is. Just do something for yourself to kind of rejuvenate yourself. One of the other phrases or words that came up in our conversation was just having a support system. And I know that that's hard for me because I feel like if I ask for help, then I feel weak or vulnerable. But I'm learning that not only it's just necessary, I can't do it all by myself. And so just having a support system around me, family, friends, coworkers, helps tremendously. And then the more I talk about it, the more I realize that I'm not by myself, and I'm not on an island by myself. And sometimes your escape is just talking about it. And so I encourage you to have, or to lean into your support system, and know that, and I'm speaking from experience, like, know that asking for help doesn't mean failure. It just means, to me, it's courage. And I have to remind myself of that often because I forget that too. And then the other thing that is necessary is that flexibility. And this is huge. This is something that I'll talk about too, because I did my dissertation on single Black mothers, and flexibility was a word that permeated throughout that entire process when I was talking with other single mothers. And flexibility in our situation, in our conversation, was, for me, flexibility in my career, because I know that I had less mom guilt when I found myself in a position to where I had more flexibility, where I feel like if something were to happen, then I had the flexibility to go take care of my child, or if I had to go run him to the doctor, then I wouldn't have to be docked for something or made to feel guilty about it. So for me, that balance, I've also coached at the collegiate level, and I just found myself having an incredible amount of mom guilt at that level because I didn't feel like I had the flexibility that I needed. I had, financially, I was good, but I didn't have the flexibility that I needed to feel comfortable as a mother. So being at the high school level has allowed me to have that flexibility and decrease the mom guilt 90%. So my child is able to, I'm able to have better access to him. He's able to ride the bus. He's able to be in the dugout, wherever, to be with me. So that makes me feel a lot better. And another aspect of flexibility was just in schedule. And I know that when I heard my sister actually talk about that, it was a huge wake-up call for me, because she is something I actually envy in her, is that she just kind of allows herself to get off schedule and it's all going to be okay. Whereas I'm like, we gotta do this, and this. But she says that she allows herself the flexibility to come home and just kind of unwind, and it's okay if it's not 8:30 that the bedtime is and bath, and it's okay. And I often forget that, especially when I'm in season. And so that's just a good reminder, just to kind of have flexibility. And then I just want to encourage you, is that while we all have different stories on how we became single mothers or chose to be single mothers, is that I just want to encourage you that you can do it. I've definitely had my shares of difficult times, and I will talk about that on another video. But I can tell you that I'm so glad that I had a support system to kind of help me get through that, because it was very, very, very difficult for me. But I feel like I have to continue to adjust, as seasons change. Like as my child gets older, I have to become more flexible and just expand as a mom to be able to be the mom that he needs me to be, with what he's doing. So I just want to encourage you that you're not by yourself. And I know the biggest thing is that asking for help is not failure. Asking for help does not mean that everything's hit the fan. Asking for help is courage. It is courage, because you won't feel by yourself, and talking about it helps you recognize that you're not by yourself. And I'm so thankful that I have people that in my life that are willing to help encourage me and pour into me, and that I'm able to vocalize how I feel, because I realize that I'm not alone and everybody has a story. And I'm just thankful that I have people in my life that are willing to read it with me and write it with me. So I just hope that this is encouragement to other single mothers out there. And I would encourage you to like my Facebook page, Mornings with Mac. I also have an Instagram, Mornings with Mac, and a podcast, Mornings with Mac. And all of this information is going to be shared on there. So once again, I hope that you have also grabbed your cup of coffee and tuned in to today's episode. And I just want to encourage you that you got this.